plaintiff, Winona Duncan, says she was a single mom. And when she moved the defendant, her daughter, from Chicago to Wisconsin, she started acting out and hanging out with a bad crowd. Winona's suing her daughter today for the balance due on a cell phone bill. Defendant Lucretia Duncan says when she and Winona lived in Chicago, Winona would leave her and her brother home alone all week while she went to her boyfriend's house in Wisconsin. Lucretia claims after they moved in with Winona's boyfriend, he made it clear that he did not want Lucretia around. So that's why she left the house to stay with her friends. She denies owing her mother for anything.
Start with you.
This is my baby, Yana. And I didn't want this to come to this, but I miss my daughter. And I just want to hug her right now. Can I get a hug? Sure. You too, baby. My daughter and I, we were very close. You know, I was a single mom. She started rebellion when I moved from North Chicago. Got really busy down there and real fast, and so I moved to Wisconsin. And she didn't like the fact that I moved to Wisconsin because she had no friends there, and so she, you know, started hanging out with different people and you know, started talking back, and you know, and I wasn't going. You know, I wasn't that type of mom. You know, you don't talk back to me. You know, so she was moving from my family members' houses because she didn't want to be with me. She didn't.
Did she finish high school?
Yeah, she got a
GED.
GED.
Did she finish when she was with you?
No, she didn't.
She had already moved?
She had already moved, yes.
Okay. At what age?
She was 17.
Okay. And what has your relationship been like since then?
Well, we've been close until this here happened.
Okay, good. If this is the only thing dividing you, let's get this out of the way. Young lady, what do you want to tell me?
My mom just thinks that I was just being rebellious against her when I was a kid, and that wasn't the case. When we lived in North Chicago, yes, it was a fast-paced life for me and my brother, but me and my brother was staying there for weeks, or a week, I would say, at a time, and she had a boyfriend that stayed in Wisconsin. So she would come home every Friday to give us money to buy food, but for the rest of the week, we didn't see her. So
who would you be with?
It was me and my brother at home, me and my older brother.
By yourself?
Yep. But he was in high school.
Ages?
He was in high school, and I was in 8th grade. So I would say about 14, and he was, what, 17?
For how long did this go on?
I want to say for like the last 2 months of my 8th grade year. And because I was getting into a lot of fights at school, my mom said, okay, I don't want you to go to school down here. So when school was out, she moved us with her to her boyfriend's house where she'd been staying at. Her boyfriend, when we had our own place, he was a nice guy. But then when we moved in, things changed. He didn't want my mom as a package deal. He wanted my mom, not her kids. So the people that I was hanging around were the people that her boyfriend at the time introduced me to, because I ain't have no friends. So I was hanging out with them, and then they would get into their little disputes. And so I started staying at my friend's house. It got to the point where he didn't want me and my brother there, so I would go and move with my friends. Yes, I was rebellious because your boyfriend didn't like us. He didn't want us in his house. So I left. Whenever he told me to leave, I left. What was the point of staying there? I mean, she tried to fight for us, but it wasn't much that she could do because we were staying in his house.
Ma'am, and it is true?
Yes, it is, Your Honor.
So you would leave them home for a week at a time by themselves?
Your Honor, I was scoping out a better place for them because North Chicago was very bad.
All right. So I was scoping out another place to stay. That's why I left my 14-year-old. And, Your Honor, I don't know what's wrong with her. Did she ever come to you, or did you observe any problems with her and your boyfriend while she was living under his roof.
Yes.
All right. There's nothing wrong with her. And whatever is wrong with her came from you and your boyfriend. Now let's get to the bill. How does she owe you, ma'am? $2,244.
Okay. When she was 20 years old and she was pregnant, and she was working at Krispy Kreme. And this is when cell phones first came out, back in 2003. And we only had 200 minutes between us. And I told her, we only got 200 minutes between us. She was working third shift at Krispy Kreme. So I got her this phone. So if anything happened to the car on her way home, that she'd be able to call me to let me know. So when I got the bill, it was $1,400. And she told me anything over the 200 minutes that we had, she would pay.
In 03.
In 03.
So what happened then?
Okay, so time went on. The bill didn't get paid. I turned the phones off. I thought it was closed, and it wasn't.
When did you turn them off?
I turned them off in 2003.
Same year. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so this year, I got a lawsuit saying that they're coming after me for this bill. So they're garnishing my wages.
Okay, you have that?
Her boyfriend, when we had our own place, he was a nice guy. But then when we moved in, things changed. He didn't want my mom as a package deal. He wanted my mom, not her kids. Yes, I was rebellious because your boyfriend didn't like us. He didn't want us in his house. So I left. Whenever he told me to leave, I left.
Defendant Lucretia Duncan is being sued by her mother, who claims after she moved Lucretia from Chicago to Wisconsin, Lucretia started rebelling and hanging with a bad crowd.
What do you say to this young lady?
I was 19. No, I was actually 18 at the time I got pregnant with my son. And it was the last month of my pregnancy. And my mom went and purchased these phones without me knowing. And I came home and she said, oh, look, I got us some phones. I explained to her then, Mom, I'm only working at Krispy Kreme. I'm only making $8 an hour. I can't afford a phone bill plus a newborn kid. And she told me, oh, don't worry about it. I'll pay the phone bill. Okay, fine. If you pay the phone bill, that's fine. I work third shift, so all day I'm asleep. I'm asleep all day. She gets the first bill. After a month of having the phone, it was $1,000. It was not 14. It got to 14 when she got it disconnected the following year in 2004. She like, this bill is so high, so she took the phone from me. After me only having it for 1 month, she took the phone and gave it to her boyfriend.
That's nice.
And also, we discussed the phone bill right when she took it, and she was filing bankruptcy that year, and she was supposed to put it on her bankruptcy, but she didn't. That's why they came after her so long afterwards, because she was supposed to put it on her bankruptcy, and it wasn't on there.
Well, let's start with this. You kept it for 1 month?
I had it for 1 month, and it was
and
2
you
lines.
said she had it how long?
1 month.
She is the only one that used this phone.
She's the only one that used her phone.
It was 2 lines. So she had a phone.
Does this reflect 2 lines or one?
That's for 2 lines.
That's one phone, that's one line.
That's for 2 lines. If you look at the complete bill,
Hold on, ma'am.
I can show you the complete bill, and it's for 2 lines.
Let's see it, please. Thank you. Boom, total charges, and boom. Winona Duncan for 2 different lines.
Yes.
All right. You just told me it was for 1. Your claim is dismissed. Have a good day.
I just miss my relationship with my mom, and I'm really upset that because of this phone, that it drew such a big wedge between the both of us. It's ridiculous, over a phone bill that she knew was not mine.
Plaintiff Sally Hammonds was friends with the defendant, and one night while drunk and high, he got run over by a train and lost both of his legs. Sally claims after the defendant was released from the hospital, they started dating, moved in together, and eventually wed. However, Sally claims she divorced the defendant because he was using meth, and she's suing him today for unreturned property. Defendant Mitchell Hammond says while he was in the hospital, Sally asked him to marry her, even though they weren't even dating. Mitchell claims on their wedding night, Sally got drunk and tried to stab him. Then she disappeared for 3 weeks with his prosthetic legs. He's countersuing for the cost of a cell phone and pain and suffering.
Start with you.
In 2010, I met Mitch, and he came to see me for 2 years at my job. He was trying to be my boyfriend, I guess. In 2012 of August, he came to the bar where I worked at, and he had been drinking and I guess getting high on marijuana. And he had left the club and got ran over by the railroad train, which caused him to lose both of his legs. He was crossing.
What did he tell you happened?
He crossed between the crosswalks. He fell, and he had a leg brace on at the time. Leg brace got stuck in the tracks, and the train came and ran over his legs. And I stayed with him until he got out of the hospital a month and a half later. After he got out, we got together. And,
no, you asked me to marry you. I was in the hospital.
Yeah, I did.
You did?
Yes, I did. Because,
Had you all been dating,
Nope.
ma'am?
no, not at that time. But after he got out of the hospital, we moved in together.
You asked him to marry you, even though you'd never been on one date.
No,
And
sir.
you weren't dating then.
I was afraid that he would die.
Oh, so you were looking for that pension.
No, sir.
Yep, pretty much.
There's no
You
pension.
want to marry a
No,
man
sir.
that was about to die.
Sorry.
Right, pension.
Yeah. What? Yeah.
What do you want to marry a guy that's about to die for, ma'am?
Because I knew he was in love with me.
Let me hear from you, sir.
Well, that part is right. You know, we got married. I married her 6 months later.
Because she asked you, you thought you were dying too?
No, I actually loved the girl. I chased her for 2 years.
I know that part, but
Yeah.
you had never dated her.
No.
So when she asked to marry, what did you think she was asking for? What, you ever dawned on
Then
you, or
I
you
thought it
didn't
was 'cause
care
she
because
cared.
she had given in,
Actually, then I thought she cared.
but you never thought you were dying.
No. Oh, no. Oh,
But you let her think that.
no, I didn't let her think that. She knew I wasn't dying.
How long did you all stay together, or how long after that did you get married?
In April of 2013, we got married.
All right.
After we got married, we moved into an apartment. He started drinking pretty heavily, and
Not
he started doing meth. He was drinking a lot heavier.
Yeah.
I didn't know he was that
That's
much of
a
an
lot.
alcoholic. I thought that the train accident would turn his life around. It did not. Eventually, he started doing meth, and I had left him a year ago, and he had called me and told me that he was done with the methamphetamine. And I told him if he were done, then I would come back home, so I did. Come to find out, he had moved some drug dealers into our apartment.
When
and,
was this?
In 2015.
You asked him to marry you, even though you'd never been on one date.
No,
And
sir.
you weren't dating then.
I was afraid that he would die.
Oh, so you were looking for that pension.
No, sir.
Yep, pretty much.
There's no
You
pension.
want to marry a
No,
man
sir.
that was about to die.
Plaintiff Sally Hammonds is suing her ex-husband, who claims on their wedding night, Sally got drunk and tried to stab him.
Sir, you give me background on this.
Well, that's not true. We got married. Our wedding night, she tried to stab me. I had locked myself in the
Lord.
bathroom because she was drinking and went crazy.
She drinks too,
Oh, she drinks, yeah.
heavily.
She does drugs too.
What type of drugs?
Well, I smell. I ain't gonna lie. I smelled marijuana. After I got hit by the train, it helped calm
That's
me.
not hard drugs. I don't want to hear about that. I want to hear about these hard drugs. She says you smoke crystal meth,
No,
hard
I didn't
drugs.
smoke crystal meth.
All right, you weren't a crystal meth addict?
No.
All right, so she's not
I
telling
did
the
drink
truth.
and smoke, but I didn't drink like she says I drank.
Okay, good enough. And you say she uses drugs, what, smokes pot too?
Yeah, she was.
All right, good enough. What about the drug dealers moving in? Which
Oh,
did
that
you
was
move?
when she stole my legs.
When did she steal your legs? sir?
Yeah,
I did not steal his leg.
May
April.
of what?
May of 2014.
May of 14. Tell me how it came about that she stole your legs.
She took me to the doctor's. She had taken off, and she stopped at a gas station. It was raining out, so I didn't have my legs on because you can't wear them in the rain because they're electronic. she told me to wait there because the people that she was going to their house didn't want me to know where they lived. So I said, all right, we got in an argument, and I got out, and I was waiting there for her. She left me there. Took me 2 hours to find a ride to get
sir,
home.
I did not.
And you had your legs and...
She had my legs in
Yeah.
her car, and then she disappeared for 3 weeks
No, sir, I did
and
not.
wouldn't give them back. I got a police report that I filed
Okay.
on her.
You're a witness. You want her to speak?
Yes, she can.
Come on up, ma'am. State
Your
your
Honor,
name.
on the,
State your name.
I'm Jerry Huddleston.
What do you want to tell me?
On the theft of his legs, I read the police report, but besides that, I've seen the text messages from his mother and his sisters to Sally saying, please, we will come and meet with you ourselves. Just give his
All right,
legs
but she
back.
brought the legs back,
No.
right?
No,
After I took
they
her
did
back,
not.
that's
They
when those
did
people
not.
All right,
were
so
living.
you have your
Sir.
legs back. What are you suing for today, ma'am? And when did you all get a divorce? It says ex-husband. When did you divorce?
He filed for divorce in March of 2015. I was not aware of this.
Did you become aware that it was final?
Yes, when his girlfriend posted it on Facebook
When?
in April.
All right. So tell me what you're suing him for.
I have property that we have in a storage unit. I had my own unit, and I have receipts where I have paid on my own unit. And then he talked me into combining my stuff into our storage.
That's a lie.
I have been trying to get my belongings ever since I left.
You have your divorce judgment or anyone?
I
the
do.
divorce
I have the divorce
decree?
decree where I got
And
everything.
the
Divorce
divorce-
decree?
You got
Let's see.
everything.
And
It
the
said it
divorce
had to be-
decree, sir.
No,
Up,
what was
yeah.
in my possession was mine.
Oh.
No, it
She
says
didn't
that we,
show up.
no.
Too bad.
It says that
Shouldn't
we,
have been on the
it
road.
says that we
Tell her.
divided our
Wasn't
property.
on the road.
Pardon me,
It said that we
ma'am?
divided our property in the divorce decree. We did not.
Yeah, you never came and got it. You weren't there.
You were supposed
You
to
had
get a
30
hold of
days
me.
after the divorce to dispute it, and you still didn't.
How do I know about it if it's filed in a newspaper, hun?
How's that
Read
happen?
the paper.
I don't live in the same town as you.
She talked to you the
Okay. Okay, they had my phone number, sir. They had called me during that time. I seen him the very day that he filed for divorce, but
I
he
got
never
it, ma'am.
mentioned
This
it.
is a default divorce. And as he says, he couldn't locate you, and you've been served by publication, as stated below. Division of assets does indicate that the parties have previously divided their assets, and each party is awarded any and all property in his or her possession, including personal items, clothing, furniture, and household goods. And you say that you all had not previously divided any assets.
No, sir, we did not.
All right.
That's 'cause you had nowhere to
And
put it. I told her
this
to
is
come get her
stamped
stuff.
April 16, and you should go back and seek to have this invalidated based on either, well, that part is fraud. The fact that he has stated that you all previously divided your assets, here you're alleging fraud. Secondly, the default judgments, they will allow you to amend your complaint and answer them. Your counterclaim is for what, sir?
For the $800 cell phone that she didn't give back, that was mine,
When was that?
December 30th. And then I got,
Of
you know,
what year?
2015, when she took off. I didn't hear from her for 30 days. She left all her stuff with me. And then I told her to get her stuff. She said, I
30
can't, I ain't
days.
got no place to put it. And I said, well, you should have thought of that before you left.
I offered to
And I said,
help
I
pay
gave
for
her
the
2
storage.
weeks. She said, I ain't got nowhere to put it. So, she got married. Our wedding night, she tried to stab me. I'd locked myself in the
Lord.
bathroom because she was drinking and went crazy.
She drinks too,
Oh, she drinks, yeah.
heavily?
She does drugs too.
Plaintiff Sally Hammonds is suing her ex-husband, who claims on their wedding night, Sally got drunk and tried to stab him.
But this was during the time you were married, right?
Yes, sir.
So once again, that's marital property as
That-
well. Everything
I have pictures of
prior
property.
to this divorce decree, which occurred on April 6th of 2016, everything prior to that involved your marriage. Anything afterwards is not subject to the divorce decree. And you allege that the division of the assets should be nullified, 1, on fraud, and 2, on your failure to receive proper notice. Both of those things have to go back before the same judge that issued the decree. I can't second guess that judge. This is a matter in which you ask for it to be reopened. You must go and amend your complaint, and so must you, sir. Your divorce decree. You want the $5,000 you asked for. When you get back to court, ask the judge if he reopened it and give you the $5,000, because tell him that occurred once again prior to the divorce.
He's
All right?
a liar.
Pardon me?
I saw him after that. I saw both of them after that.
Okay. Tell it to the judge. The other judge. I must dismiss both your complaints. Have a good day. Yes.
Something else. Do you remember when you
Don't
said,
talk
Jerry,
to
would
me.
get a hold of me? I can do whatever I want. I'm a grown woman.
A grown moron.
No, you are. You're the one who jumped out in front of the train, not me.
Yeah.
Remember, just because his legs
Remember?
handicapped.
Just so I can marry your
Exactly.
Plaintiff Randy Broughton says he doesn't know the defendant personally, but he knows that he's a raging alcoholic. Randy claims as a result of the defendant's negligence, they got into a car accident, and after the accident, the defendant pushed him, so Randy hit him back in self-defense. Randy suing for impound fees. Defendant Jesse Van Oy says after the accident, Randy got out of his vehicle in a violent rage, and when Jesse tried to calm him down, he punched Jesse in the face, right in front of Jesse's kids. Jesse insists Randy caused the accident, and he's countersuing for emotional distress.
Start with you.
Honor, I've never met this man. I don't know him personally. I do know he is a raging alcoholic.
You say you don't know him.
Well, from the incident, he was drunk and
I wasn't charged with a DUI or
Okay, so there was an incident where he was drunk and he was enraged.
Yes.
That's what you're saying on a particular incident?
yes.
All right,
And,
so describe what occurred.
well, I was leaving work and I was headed up Old 210 Road, going to 291 to head towards my house. There's two vehicles stopped at a stop sign, and the first one had enough time to pull out and make a left turn. Mr. Van Noy followed him out of the stop sign. I slammed on my brakes, tried to stop. He kept going to where we collided. I got out of my car because he was trying to leave the scene, but he couldn't because his axle was broke. He got in my face, started screaming, cussing. I smelled alcohol. His kids got out of the car, and I had called my work, told them that I had gotten in an accident. They came, and he got even more aggressive. And my employees were telling him, look, you know, your kids are outside. You know, they're watching you. You need to calm down and get in your car. And I guess he thought we were critiquing his parenting skills, grabbed me, pushed me, started yelling, screaming in my face. So I reacted in self-defense and hit him, and I do have a police report saying that they smelled alcohol on his breath.
I'll
that
take a
night.
look at that, sir. Let me hear your side. Sir,
Yes, sir.
let me hear from you.
Well, you know, it didn't happen like that.
Yeah, tell me how it
Actually,
happened.
you know, he was speeding down that road. He was probably doing like, I don't know, 50, and it's a 35 right there. And I had pulled forward because the car, so I could see around, because it's like a bend like this. Like he said, it's a country road, so you can't really see because there's a big bend. And he didn't try to slam on his brakes or anything. He didn't even try to stop. He just blasted right through me. And the kids
there
were,
was-
Let him finish, sir.
you know, and the kids were in the car, and they even said the same thing. They're like, we can't even leave that guy stopped. He got out of his car, just like he said. He got out of his car, and he was like kicking the ground, and he's like, he's like just going off in rage. So I get out of my car to tell him, hey, can you calm down? Because my kids are in the car watching you act a fool. And you know, they're trying to ask me questions. Next thing I know, he punches me in the mouth. And then I don't know who was there or whatever. He says that it was, I thought it was just bystanders. I don't know. But they were like pulling him back and like, oh, you need to calm down. You need to calm down. It was pretty crazy.
Did the police come?
Yes, sir.
And
Yes,
what
they did. I was arrested for driving on a suspended license.
You were arrested.
Yes, sir.
All right. And did the police speak with others at the site?
Yes, I had gotten a call because I went to the hospital. He was actually arrested for being belligerent, and he had outstanding warrants on top of that.
Is that true?
That's not true, Your Honor.
All right.
Plaintiff Randy Broughton says the defendant was driving drunk with his children in the car, and he crashed into Randy. And after the accident, he assaulted Randy.
And your counterclaim, how does he owe you?
Well, because I feel like it was emotional discomfort with my children, because every time I see them now, we have to talk about that situation. You know, I lost my vehicle in the whole matter.
How does that have anything to do?
And your car has been impounded, and you're unable to get it out?
Yes, it's been in there since January 10th, and they have charged me $35
Yeah.
a day, and it's been in there for 137 days.
All right, and you say your children, sounds like they need therapy or something, don't they?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, because I'm looking at them. And let me tell you what the police said. Upon arrival, I observed 2 vehicles obstructing the roadway and both not able to leave the scene under their own power. Driver 2 approached me, this is the police, very agitated, stating that driver 1 was going 100 miles per hour and repeating his phrase over and over.
Well, I had just been colliding.
I then contacted a passing motorist who stated that driver 2 attempted to assault driver 1 and the other motorists. So he attempted to assault both. That's what the witness told the police.
Well,
I then spoke with driver 2 again, you. He insisted that he stopped at the stop sign. I informed him he also needed to yield to ongoing cars, not just stop, clarifying that your understanding was wrong. Driver 2 stated he had insurance but was unable to show me proof. A computer check of driver 2 revealed that his license was suspended along with several outstanding warrants. While speaking with driver 2, I detected the smell of alcohol on his breath. This is the police. How'd you explain all this? How'd you explain all this to your kids? They're gonna really need therapy when they read about this.
Dr. Phil.
You better make sure they're gonna need Dr. Phil. Yeah. Driver 2 was placed in double locked handcuffs, not even regular handcuffs. He was transported to the station. I don't know why you come in here and tell me that big story. You didn't think there was a report?
And also,
Well, I wasn't charged
Your
with
Honor,
DUI, or nor was I. I mean, they didn't move me anywhere else. I went to jail. I got the driving on suspended, and I had bailed out.
Are
on the
you
driving.
drunk today?
No, sir.
You didn't hear what I just read that the police observed?
Well, why didn't they charge me with it then?
I don't know why they didn't charge you. They said they smelled alcohol on you. Sometimes folks like you get a break. Judgment for the plaintiff. Have a good day. Yours is dismissed. He drunk. He drunk.
honestly, if he was to learn one thing from today, just to, make sure his kids would never have to see anything like that ever again, because that's something 6- and 7-year-old kids shouldn't be going through.
I don't have anything to say. I don't.